Hey guys, welcome back to MFO. I'm on the move today. It's a relatively warm day in the 30s, and I'm about a month away from heading down to Florida for my first tournament. And so the reality is that we need to start getting getting into shape a little bit and losing a few pounds and making sure that I'm ready for the season. So I'm doing my daily walk here, but I'm on the move, and that's the topic of today's video. And that is, when you're in a tournament, when do you move? When do you stay close to home? The reality is that my first tournament is on the Harris Chain, and there's some good fishing in lakes like Apopka and Griffin and a lot of other lakes, but there's a lot of running that you have to do, going through no wake channels, going through very small locks, and that takes time, and that time burns up your fishing day a lot. So we're going to talk about the decision making that goes into, do you go a long way and burn up a lot of time, or do you stay close to home? We'll be back right after this. We'll talk about it. Welcome back to Mark Fisher Outdoors, everybody. I'm Mark Fisher, and like I said, I'm starting to think about, where am I going to fish on the Harris Chain? Do I run to Apopka? Do I run to Griffin? Do I run to some of the other lakes? Even though that means that I've got to, I'm going to turn here because I'm going to avoid the tree cutting. Do I make the long run and give up valuable fishing time, or do I try and find fish closer to the ramp, which gives me more fishing time? And how do you make that decision? What goes into that? Well, from my experience, the thing that really goes into it, number one, is you got to go back to your practice day. And how many practice days do you have? What do you know about it, about the body of water you're going to? Because burning up a practice day on a lake that you ultimately decide that you're not going to go and use, that's wasted time. And so you kind of have to look at that, like, if I'm going to use a practice day for it, I would hope that I'm going to end up using it, or the practice day shows me that it's not worth it. If I can go to a lake that's far away and really start pounding on them, now that makes me go, okay, but the other component of that is, you need to know where you're going to fish once you get to that long, that far away lake. You can't be doing any more, scouting at that point. At that point, your time has got to be spent fishing, and fishing productive water. So, for example, if I'm going to run to Apopka, I need to know exactly the stretches that I think I can go and catch 5 good quality fish right away and be able to get out of there and get headed back. Otherwise it doesn't make sense to make those long runs. Now I'll give you another scenario, and that is, and again, I'm going to use the Harris Chain, making the run to Griffin. It's still about a 45-minute run. The lock is bigger, so it doesn't take quite as much time to get through. Griffin is a lake that, at least in my opinion, has better numbers, or it has in the past at least. And so you might look at that and go, okay, well, at least if I go to Griffin, the time that I've spent getting there, I'm going to make up for it in the fact that I'm going to catch more numbers of fish. Now, again, what I found is that even though I'm catching numbers, I'm not really catching the quality to make it worthwhile to run to Griffin. So I'm catching a lot of numbers, but they aren't doing me any good in terms of getting to the weight that I need to get to in order to, cash a check or be in the top. So those are all issues that you have to look at. Specifically for me and going to Harris, I'm also looking at the fact that we're going to the Harris chain on the 1st of February, and it's supposed to be a full moon on the 1st, and that week, and depending on what the weather looks like, this could be a tournament that is a bed fishing tournament. And in that situation, you don't need to make long runs to sight fish and to find spawning fish. So that might be a situation where you might be much better off staying close to the ramp and using your time effectively to literally just work on those sight fish and have a lot of fish located, because again, there's a lot of guys in the tournament that are going to be plucking those bed fish off the beds, and so you might need more fish than just the 5 because other guys have gotten to them before you did. So those are the things that go into my strategy when it comes to making a very long run and not leaving yourself a lot of time, or staying closer to the ramp and giving yourself more fishing time. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I probably missed something because I've been walking and talking at the same time. If I did, go ahead and shoot that in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again tomorrow on another episode of Mark Fisher Outdoors. Take care, everybody.